A cidade de Vancouver é uma cidade segura para se morar, né? Essa é uma dúvida que eu recebo bastante. Inclusive, né, eu sou do Rio de Janeiro e eu costumo brincar quando as pessoas me perguntam se a cidade de Vancouver ela é segura. Eu falo, olha, principalmente para um carioca, a gente vive aqui num paraíso, né? Mas vamos levantar aqui um pouquinho alguns dados para que você entenda. E eu vou me juntar aqui a duas moradoras aqui da cidade de Vancouver também, a Carolina e a Tânia, que trabalham no Alexander College e estão há muitos anos aqui na cidade de Vancouver. A Tânia já há bastante tempo, né? E a Carolina já aqui desde 2019. E tem mais um desafio aqui para você. Esse bate-papo vai ser em inglês, né? Então, se você está pensando em Canadá, você tem que pensar em inglês. Então, fica aqui com a gente. A Carolina, ela é da Colômbia e hoje é uma moradora de Vancouver. A Tânia, ela é da Ucrânia e é uma moradora do Canadá já há muitos anos e mora aqui em Vancouver há 5 anos. Elas vão conversar com a gente sobre a questão da segurança na cidade de Vancouver. Então, vamos lá. Hello, Carolina. Hello, Tânia. How are you?
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Francisco. Hi, everyone. Thank you for this invitation to this live with 3RA. How are you?
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much. And well, before we started, we even said we're going to talk about something easy to talk about, which is the safety in Vancouver, right? But even Vancouver, which is an amazing city, it's always voted one of the best cities in the world, it has its problems, right? So it's good to talk about like pros and cons, so people understand, and when they come here, they know exactly where they get themselves into it. That's what this like 3A tries to bring to our students, right, Carolina and Tanya? So they're
Yes.
understanding about like the city and everything. So Carolina, you live here since 2019, and Tanya live here for about 5 years, right, Tanya?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's ask Carolina, that has been here for last time. What do you feel about Vancouver compared to your city in Colombia, Carolina? Do you feel safe in Vancouver? How do you feel?
Okay, yes, Francisco. Well, definitely it's a safe city to live in. Of course, I cannot compare how is living here, for example, to live in Bogota or in Sao Paulo or in Buenos Aires, for example. So it's definitely it's a safe city to live in, I will say. However, of course, big cities, big problems, as I will say. So we still like we can see some kind of crime and different kind of things here in Vancouver, but it's not like you cannot walk outside during the day alone by yourself because if something will happen. No, it's not like this. So yeah, I feel very safe. It's already 2 years since I arrived, and definitely is like I feel safe all the time.
Okay,
I think
so just to put in perspective, right? So I compare the Vancouver, which the third biggest city in Canada, to Belo Horizonte, which the third in Brazil. I think that would be fair. If I compare Vancouver with São Paulo and Rio, wouldn't be that fair, right? So the homicide crime numbers in Vancouver in 2020 was 14. Just to compare to Belo Horizonte, right, which is the third biggest city in Rio, the numbers are 2,689. So the numbers are really different, right? Canada, it's a pretty safe country. We can say that. Vancouver, it's a pretty safe city. Like Carolina said, that is a place here and there that you have to be careful. We are going to talk about that. And but let's ask Tanya. Tanya, you have been living here for 5 years, which more time. Did you have any problem with safety? How do you feel? Like, can you go out at night and do whatever you want, or are you scared at some point? How do you feel about Vancouver?
Yeah, absolutely. Luckily for me, I definitely have not felt scared, but I also do think it's important to add sort of how you were talking before about the statistics. When we're talking about Vancouver, we are talking about sort of, a world-renowned city, right? We're not just looking at any town in Canada, even though Canada is very safe in general. So the fact that we are considering, one of the biggest cities in Canada and in North America, and yet we do have this feeling of safety does say a lot, just because typically when you are going to study in a big city, it's one thing that you are kind of, not willing to compromise, but you're aware that there may be some difficulties. But in Vancouver, there is just sort of this general feeling of safety. I don't know if Carolina would agree, but something that I always notice on a daily is the amount of security organizations in all public spaces. So, if you go to a bank, if you go to get, healthcare, there's always sort of security officers on every corner. And so, like I said, there is just this feeling that the government of Canada really puts in the time to make sure that they go out of their way to provide training to a variety of different, security staff or whatever it is, to make sure that there is that help that is needed when you need. And something that Carolina and I actually briefly chatted right before this live, is she was saying that in her hometown, if a crime was to happen and you call the police, you can expect hours, if not days, for a response to take place. Whereas in Vancouver, I think everyone would agree that the police does go out of its way to respond to urgent threats right away, right? Because they know that if a person didn't get a response in Canada, it's almost one of those things that is unacceptable. That to us is essential. Our safety, being able to walk, whether it's at night or during the daylight, is our right as citizens of Canada, and something that we are able to witness. So so no concerns from both of us, and personally for us, we have had a very positive experience.
I gotta agree with you guys. I live here for about 17 years. I went through a few problems, but they are a few, and they are very small problems. It's one of the best cities, not only in Canada, but in the world. Let's talk if we're going to talk about the problems safety-wise that Vancouver, that I encounter in Vancouver, which please understand that this is really small compared to any city in Brazil. Right? It's the way that I see Vancouver is one of the warmest cities in Canada. Right? So imagine if you live in the street, you are homeless. You would rather live in a place that is minus 35 degrees, or you're going to live in a place that in the winter is like 2, 5, 10 degrees. So a lot of people from the small towns, they came to live in Vancouver because it's warmer. And a lot of these people are homeless and people like that. So in the city, you encounter a few islands. I would say there's a few places in the city that it looks weird. It feels weird, right, guys? It's kind of like in Brazil, like we say, the Cracolândia. It's you have a few places in Vancouver that there is people in the street, and it's they're doing drugs and things like that. The difference, in my opinion, from Brazil is like this. If I go like one of the most dangerous place in Vancouver, the most dangerous place in Vancouver, if I may, it's around like East Hastings in Maine. I can cross that place on a car with my windows down, with my family inside of the car at 3 o'clock in the morning, and no problem. Nobody is going to bother me. Nobody is going to touch me. Nothing is going to happen. You can go through that place. It's just people that live on the street. It looks weird. It's funny because I had a lot of friends coming visiting, and a lot of students like, oh, I thought Vancouver was perfect, and that is this place. I say, yeah, that is this place. There's people in the world. There's all kind of people in the world, right? So there's people live in the street, but they are there. You can they just like, they're not gonna bother you. They're not gonna put a gun in your face.
Yeah,
They're not
they're minding their own
gonna steal from
business.
you. We have in Vancouver some small robberies, like a bike is something that you have to watch out in Vancouver. You have to look after your bike because they like to break your chain, to get your bike to sell, to get drugs. Usually this kind of people, right? And things like this, they break a window to steal something from your car. I had a year that I had like 3 times someone broke into my car to steal things. But it kind of was like I left like a laptop bag on because you are in Vancouver, right? So I'm in paradise and can do whatever I want. Well, watch your back too. That doesn't like be careful, right? So don't leave your laptop bag on your car and things like that. But they would never put a gun in your face to steal something. No. It's they might break into your chain to get your bike. They might break into your car, and this is something that it's not very common. Like this was the year 2008 that happened with me. It never happened after that. I never left anything like on my car, like very visible or something like that. It never happened again.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I just like, oh, if I put my bag, I hide my bag, that's it. It's problem solved, right? So I remember when Vancouver was hosting the Olympics in 2010. So I saw a video on YouTube that the guy say, is Vancouver really all this, all the best city in the world, the very safe city and this and that? And I like because the way that the guy pointed, I have to find that video again. But if you look on YouTube, is Vancouver safe or something like this, probably going to find this video. So the guy got in Vancouver. It was the winter. He kind of like pretend that he came swimming to Vancouver. He came only with shorts or a boxer underwear, something like that, and a backpack. So he started to walk in Vancouver, asking people for money, for directions, this and that. And the homeless explained to him there was shelters in the city that he could go. And he goes, he hides a camera and he films the shelters. And it's really funny because there is a hot tub, that is martial art classes. They have like clothes that they can choose. It's even the guy goes like, oh, do I have brand name clothes? Yeah, I don't wear if it's not a brand name clothes. And the guy, oh, sorry, we don't. The volunteer, we don't have brand name clothes. And they have food, they have everything. So I was laughing. I was like, it's unbelievable, like how the city takes care of even the people that actually is the people that needs more care, right? But you have the feeling of the city. It's pretty safe. My son, he takes today he's almost 20 years old, but he takes a bus and go to school since he was like 11 or 12 years old, and he walks from school home to school since he was very young. And that is something that I never had to worry about. Right? It's something that it's not in my agenda. Worry about my kid walking to school, coming back. He would even go to our office in downtown, take the bus, go to downtown. He did that like a lot of times. No problem, right?
Yeah. What I always say is like here, of course, crime happen and car breaking, for example, is something very frequent. But your life is never in risk. Like it's not like in other kind of cities, even from North America, that your life can be seriously in risk. Here, I don't feel that.
Yeah,
I don't
absolutely.
know you.
Yeah, no, definitely.
It 3IA, we started as an entertainment company back in 2009, and then we switched to schools in 12. So we promote a lot of parties in Vancouver. And at some point, we were promoting a party in a nightclub that was inside of the worst part of Vancouver. And we saw all those kids, 19 years old, 20 years old, 21 years old kids, like walking to go to the nightclub in the worst place of Vancouver at 2 a.m., 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And like kids that were not from here, mainly was from Brazil, was like people from Brazil. And they would walk to this, and we never had any problem. We never heard of anyone, oh, I got jumped in the corner or something like that. Never. Like they would be like in one of the biggest cities of Canada, in the worst neighborhood in Vancouver. They would walk there 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Never had any problem.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it also kind of shows, the Canadian mentality, how everyone, first of all, feels, comfortable being on the streets, and everybody sort of minds their own business. One of the known things in Canadian culture is that if you are a homeowner, quite often Canadians will actually leave their homes unlocked. So even though they're going to bed, they will totally just leave it unlocked. So if for some reason a neighbor has to, come in and drop something off at the doorsteps or something, it's something that always comes up in the conversation, and something that sometimes international students do find to be a funny thing, because in other parts of the world, you will, triple check, double check that everything is, you have. I know, when I lived in Ukraine, since that's where I was born and raised, my condo actually had double doors, believe it or not, which I find to be so bizarre in the context of Canada, because you would just never see such structure even existing to begin with, right?
Yeah, in Colombia it's the same. Like you have like the condos have the security guard, and then you lock also your door, and sometimes you have a second door in the building. Let's say the condo has 2 buildings, so you have to go through the first security, then the second security, and then your own door. With normally, some people also have double security in their own house. So here,
my door is open most of the time here. Like the back doors of my house, they are most of the time. I remember that my mom came here and she's like, "You don't lock your door?" And I joke with her because my mom forgets everything, right? I say, "You don't lock your door in Rio de Janeiro. Are you complaining that I don't lock my door in Vancouver?" Like,
yes.
I never had a break-in my house ever here. Like, and I live here for almost 20 years. I like to pinpoint those few things, those few problems, so people don't think, "Oh, Triae selling that Vancouver is perfect, and I heard that there is this and that." So I'm talking here as a citizen of Vancouver, like someone that lives in Vancouver for almost 20 years. Caroline and Tanya, they live here as well. We're talking more like that, not Triae or Alexander College, right? So, and showing you that is a few problems, but that's
your life is never
part of Vancouver. If you want, you would never pass that. Just don't go there if you don't want. If you want to see, or if you want to go there at 3 o'clock in the morning, go. Nobody's gonna bother you.
Yeah. And when we talk about crime, and when we talk about demographics that we do on the street, it's never homicides, it's never anything violent, it's just people taking advantage of drugs, just like in any big city with high socioeconomic status, where unfortunately even homeless population will have access to these drugs, and then as a result of that, you just see very strange, weird behaviors, as Francisco was pointing out, that happens a lot on East Hastings, right? So again, as a result of drugs, something that is only having a negative impact on them, not on you, if you just don't come in contact with them, right? So, yeah.
I'm trying to find a video that I mentioned, but I could not find. If I find, I'm gonna put on our social media later. This is a great video, this social experiment that this guy did. I think that was amazing how he came and he shows like the inside of Vancouver, right? The worst part.
Yeah, I think I have watched this video.
Yeah, I'm trying to find, but like it's an old video. It's a very old video that this guy did, like when the Olympics 2010 was in place, right?
And I was also going to add really quickly that I also think that, just as with any fast developing city, a lot has changed even since 2010. Another thing that perhaps Francisco has also heard on the news is that during the midst of COVID, the government of Canada went out of its way to give cell phones to every homeless person. So that way, if there was a need to call,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that again just reflects how Canada as a nation goes out of its way to make sure that whatever issues there may be happening, there is a way to report them, the way to ask for help. They actively put in more and more funds to make sure that these crime rates do stay down, right? And that people that may contribute to these crime rates are well taken care of. So maybe we could even dig the web and see if we can find a more recent video to show also kind of the improvement from 2010, right? So yeah.
And also,
it was an amazing city in 2010, but I can say that like now it's even better city.
And it's also always depends on your own experience. Like it's also depends of what happened to you. Like when I arrived the first week, this is a personal experience, I was living at UBC, which is a big part of Vancouver, and the first week, so we were moving the bed and the boxes just to our new apartment, and a guy opened the car and took it back, but he was just very peaceful, and of course we were ladies, so we were like following him, my husband followed him, like, hey, wow, and then we called the police and everything. And the guy was just super chill, like walking. He didn't even run. He was just walking with the bag. And I remember we were like, hey, what's going on? And he was like, what happened? You want it back? Yeah. Here you are. And he gave it back to us. And that was the first week. So for us was kind of like, oh, they are even nice. They gave us back the bag without any problem. So
they're cooperating.
They are cooperating, yes. So it's always also about your own experience and different experiences.
What I'm gonna say now, just like I say, I held this to the end of the video because I didn't want to say this in the beginning of the video. So I want people to see the good side, the bad side. But like Vancouver is an amazing city. I don't know all the cities in the world, but I have been to a bunch of cities, right? And it's funny because when I go on a holiday, when I enter a plane, I start to cry. I don't want to leave Vancouver. It has so much to offer. Like the city is just out of this world. It's that's my opinion. That's my perspective. That's Francisco's, not UIA. For sure, I understand that people are different. You like this, you don't like that, right? For someone like me that likes the outdoors, that like even though I'm a chubby guy, I'm a sporty guy. I'm always in the mountain biking, hiking, snowmobiling, whatever. And this city offers it all. Like you have an amazing quality of life, and that involves the safety as well, right? Because if you don't feel safe, if your family don't feel safe, it's hard. It's hard to have like an amazing quality of life, right? So that's why Vancouver, it's voted like every year one of the best cities in the world, because
most livable.
It's a pretty safe place to live. It has its problems, for sure. It has. It's not like something that's zero problems, right? But if I compare to other cities, especially in Brazil, it's like the difference, like Vancouver and Belo Horizonte. You're talking about 14 homicides in Vancouver in a year. That was a high year for Vancouver, actually, because in 2019 was 9 homicides. And the only kinds of homicides that we have here, it's gang-related, because we have people that like sell drugs, right? The gangs here, they don't bother you, they don't touch you, you don't see them or anything like that, right? If you don't want to get involved with them, if you don't want to know nothing about them, you will never know nothing about them. But they sell drugs, right? And that is different gangs that sell drugs. And they can be in a restaurant with you and you don't know. They just like they live their lives and that's it. But sometimes some of these gangs one kill the other. Like in Brazil, in Rio, that might happen. The number in Vancouver in 2019, which was 9. That's like was 9 shootings in a year. That probably happens, I don't know, by the day in Rio or by the hour in Rio. I don't know. So
that probably doesn't even get reported when it comes to
exactly. So when we talk about 2020, which was a high number for murder, which was like, it's always gang related. Nobody's going to go in the street and kill you. That doesn't happen in Vancouver.
Yeah, no.
Right? It was 14 in the whole year. In Belo Horizonte, which the third biggest city in Brazil, was 2,684 or 89. I don't know. My handwriting is horrible. So sometimes I cannot understand my handwriting. So it's
a huge difference.
A completely different world, that we can say, right? So Carolina and Tanya, let's invite everybody to participate of the Canada Summit 2021. What we are doing here, me, Carolina, and Tanya, it's giving more information about Vancouver, about Canada. I'm going to switch to Portuguese a little bit, okay, guys?
Okay, sure.
Para ficar mais fácil, pessoal. Mas eu espero que você tenha gostado do bate-papo, né? E tenha aproveitado para treinar um pouco o seu ouvido aí no inglês, né? Meu inglês está longe de ser perfeito, mas é bom que, né, que a gente tá todo mundo aqui batendo um papo e aí vocês podem entender mais sobre Vancouver por dentro. Aqui a gente falou muito como moradores de Vancouver, né? E convido a você a participar do Canada Summit 2021. A edição de setembro é o maior evento do ano para Higher Education no Canadá. São mais de 25 escolas públicas e privadas, parceiras, que vão participar desse evento, e diversos parceiros falando de visto, falando de provas de proficiência de inglês para estudar no Canadá, falando sobre economia do seu projeto de vida no Canadá. Você vai ter a oportunidade de conversar com a Carolina e com a Tânia. Elas vão apresentar os cursos do Alexander College. O Alexander College tem uns cursos super interessantes, com direito a PGWP, né? Você vai conhecer mais sobre a escola e aí você vai ter a oportunidade de sentar com elas no que nós chamamos de hot seat. Você vai tirar as suas dúvidas pontuais sobre a sua vinda no Canadá. Durante o Canada Summit você vai ter palestras sobre como tirar o seu visto de estudante, como a educação liga com a imigração, né? Muita gente fala, eu vou emigrar para o Canadá por college. Não é bem assim que a banda toca, você precisa saber mais detalhes. Então não perca, é só acessar 3ra.ca/summit, se inscreva, o evento é gratuito, você vai assistir do conforto e da segurança da sua casa, serão 3 dias intensos, com muitas escolas que a 3RA vai levar para você ter acesso, são parceiros incríveis como o Alexander College, né? Você vai entender mais sobre as instituições de ensino, sobre as cidades, sobre diversas coisas importantes, como, por exemplo, alugar imóvel no Canadá, uma série de coisas assim que são importantes para o seu projeto Canadá. Não perca, é só acessar 3ra.ca/summit. Carolina and Tanya, thank you so much. Let me just hold on a second. So thank you so much for being here. Okay, so I see you guys during the Canada Summit. It's around the corner next week, September 21st, 2nd, and 3rd, right?
And we will be on September 23rd at 2 p.m. talking about the different programs, as Francisco says, and I understood a little bit, that are programs very interested at Alexander College. So we invite you, all of you, to join during these three days. And of course, September 23rd at 2 p.m.
Okay, perfect. Okay, guys, thank you so much. So see you next time. E vejo todos vocês no Canadá Summit 2021, organizado pela 3RA, que é a maior agência quando o assunto é Higher Education no Canadá. A 3RA, o foco dela é educação superior no Canadá, cursos de estudo e trabalho, programas de pathway para você estudar em faculdade, e a 3RA tem um orgulho muito grande de representar quase todas as instituições de ensino canadense, sejam elas públicas ou privadas. Tá? Então vamos lá, 3ra.ca/summit, te espero no evento. Um abraço. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much, Francisco, and everyone for joining us.
See you soon.